Hello and welcome to my channel Linux World. In today's video we are going to talk about in the initial config series we are going to talk about installing some packages. Since we have gone with the minimal install, it's a good idea to install some useful packages. So the first package we're going to talk about it's a group of packages. It's called guest agents. So let's see what that group of packages gives us. DNF group info, quotations, guest agents. You run this command, it will give us information about that group of packages and what packages it will install. So it installs Hyper-V daemons, also installs OpenVM tools, and it will also install QEMU guest agent. Well, these packages are for virtual machines running on a hypervisor. Whether if it's VMware, it will work with this package, or if it's like mine, it runs on VMware. OpenVM tools is good, and if it's running in Proxmox, a QEMU based virtual machine, this package is good for that. What this does is it's better. This agent will help communication between the VMs and the hypervisor better. For instance, for example, if you add additional hard disks to the virtual machine, it will appear as soon as you do that. You don't have to reboot the system. So in short, it's better communication between the hypervisor and the virtual machine. So let's go ahead and install this package. So to do that, we'll do DNF group install guest agents -y to automatically proceed. Okay, I must have made a mistake. Group install, spelled it wrong here. Guest agents -y. Okay. All right, and let's clear the screen out. The next package we're going to install is called, it's not a group, it's just a single package. It's called NetTools. It installs some important tools for to get network information on the system, do some troubleshooting, and to investigate the system. So like, for instance, if config is part of it, which is not working right now. So let's try another command. Sysstat is also not working. So let's install this package. DNF install NetTools -y. So once this package is installed, you can run a Red Hat Package Manager RPM command to query all pipe. Red Hat Package Manager tools. So it's installed. You can run another command to list what it installed. Pipe less to see the less output. So we got this netstat command right here. User bin netstat, and it gives us other commands down here. You can see under sbin, it gives us arp, etherwake, if config is part of it, route, and stuff like that. So now we can run if config, it's working, netstat to get some statistics on the network, such as port 22. These services are listening, SSHD, such and so forth. We're not going to discuss this in too much into it. Like route -n, get some default gateway information right here, stuff like that. So that's working fine. The next package we're going to install is called bindutil. DNF install utils -y. This is a package that gives you some utilities to query the DNS server information, like NS lookup and stuff like that. So you can do NS lookup on our IP address 10.0.0.111 or 104 maybe 04. So that belongs to my VM, this IP address. You can do dig command with this utility and stuff like that. Another command we are going to install is a Vim editor. This Vim editor is, let's install Vim -y. It is a editor, file editor that gives you a nice color coordinated output. It's easy on your eyes and easy to spot stuff. So if you use VI Anaconda, you see now VI is pointing to Vim automatically. Before we had to set an alias, but as you can see, the comment out lines are in blue, and you get some in the command output. You get some coloring as well, so it's easier to spot your configurations and if they're taking effect. So Vim is good. Next thing, we're going to install a monitoring tool called sysstat. A very powerful tool. You can use this tool to, let's install it first. Sysstat. You can use this utility to monitor the system back in time and see what happened if it was running slow. Oh, okay, so it was already installed. I might have installed it, sysstat utility. So we will discuss that in our separate video in detail about it, but it's good to install this under initial setup. And I think we are pretty much done with our initial packages right away that we might need or is a good idea to install. Okay, now the next thing we're going to discuss is something I mentioned in my previous video, that you get a access to something called Cockpit, which gives you a view from the web browser, a GUI interface. Let's look at that if you wish to use that. So let's check systemctl status pit socket is a command. Okay, so it's not there. So systemctl enable. Now we'll start the service as well. We'll enable does not exist, so it is not there. So might have to install it. DNS install. Okay. Cockpit. Let's see. So it's installing Cockpit, and it has a bunch of dependencies. Let's install it. That's fine. So once this is installed, I thought it will be installed by default, but it's not. A lot of people don't use this. Usually Linux is managed through the command line, but just to show you that this is available and what it looks like, I will install this and start it up. Wait for this to complete. Clear the screen out. So we'll systemctl status. It's inactive and disabled. So let's enable and start the service. We'll do that in a single command by systemctl enable --. Now we'll also start it up. If we go up arrow a couple of times, check the status. Now it's enabled and it's active and listening, the service. Okay, so to access this server from a GUI interface, what we could do is we could go to our server's IP address. It's 10.0.0.111 : port number 9090. So this service is accessible from port 9090. If I run this command, you can see that it's port 9090 is listening. It's listed as a system D process. It doesn't say cockpit, but that's the port that we're going to talk to get access to our cockpit console. Okay, I'm going to advance and proceed to it. There you go. So this is a GUI. I'm going to use the same user root and password to log into the system, and it gives you a nice GUI interface and overview of the system. If in the left pane you see here, I'm logged into my test VM, and it gives you information about the health, the usage of the CPU. It's kind of busy at this moment, so it's showing you it's 99% in use. And this VM is running on VMware, so it gives you information about the machine, some nice details. PCI information, maybe too much information that you need. It's got logs, storage information. So it has our one disk. It's a VMware virtual disk. It has some partitions, /boot, /EFI, and it has the whole system is mounted on this LVM partition. Okay, networking information. Firewall is disabled. This is really nice. Network interfaces, we have one interface. It's an Ethernet port where you plug in your Ethernet wire to. It's all virtual, and it's showing that it's trying to send and receive information, processes that are running. Some user accounts. So initial install, we created a user called Tom, and this is your default administrator user on Linux. Services that are running on the system. Okay, these are a bunch of services you can enable, disable. So you could do a lot of stuff from here. Okay, I believe you could come here, click on subscriptions. So this is subscribe to Red Hat. In our previous initial setup videos, we have subscribed to Red Hat, and it shows you our product that we're receiving. Okay, installed product is Red Hat Linux. Okay. And we also get access to the terminal from here. You can run commands. So wonderful. You can run like ifconfig, right? Clear it. So this is a really good. You can add additional plugins here to get more features added to this, so you can manage them. I believe you could do some containers. You can add containers. You can create virtual machines if this was installed on a. To create virtual machines, you can't do that on a virtual machine. You have to install this on a physical machine. Then you can use Cockpit and install additional packages. We'll cover that in detail, but this is just initial installation and steps. So, yeah. Let me just leave from here. So I believe we are done with the Red Hat Linux 9 install and initial setup. We added some user accounts. We turned off some security features like firewall, SE Linux, and we installed some initial packages. We configured static networking. So we are done.